AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after what she did to me in my own. This has been weighing on me for months now, and I honestly don't know if I'm being unreasonable or if my sister crossed a serious line. I'm hoping to get some perspective here because my family is split on this, and I'm starting to feel like I'm the bad guy, but something just doesn't sit right. I, 28F, have a younger sister, Emily, 26F. Growing up, we were pretty close, but as adults, things have gotten complicated. Emily is getting married next month, and I've decided I'm not going to her wedding. Let me explain why. A bit of background first. I've always been more introverted and low-key, while Emily is very outgoing and thrives on attention. Our parents have always been very involved in both our lives, but Emily kind of monopolizes their attention, often at my expense. This dynamic has caused tension over the years, but we managed to stay civil. A few months ago, I got engaged to my boyfriend, Mark 30M. We've been together for about 4 years, and I thought the engagement was something to celebrate with my family. I sent out the announcements, called Emily personally, and invited everyone to the small party we planned. When I told Emily, her response was lukewarm at best. She congratulated me, but immediately shifted the conversation to her wedding plans, which is scheduled for a few months after my engagement party. I was a bit taken aback, but didn't push it. Fast forward to the party. I had about 30 people coming, mostly close friends and family. I wanted it to be a relaxed evening with some food, drinks, and good company. I had been stressing over the arrangements, wanting everything to be perfect. Emily showed up late, which was frustrating but not unusual. The real issue started when she arrived. Instead of congratulating me properly, she made a scene. She loudly complained about how she wasn't included in the planning, how no one had asked her opinion on the food or music, and basically turned the party into a platform for her grievances. I tried to calm her down and explain that it was my party and I was handling things my way, but she kept interrupting me, making passive-aggressive comments about how it must be nice to have everything handed to me because of my boyfriend's job and how different our family treated us. I was mortified. People at the party started whispering, and some tried to diffuse the tension, but Emily kept going. Eventually, she announced she was leaving, but before she did, she said something that really hurt. I guess this is what happens when you think you're better than everyone else. That night, I was upset but tried to move on. I didn't want to make it a bigger deal, but Emily started sending me texts accusing me of trying to steal the spotlight and making her wedding less special by getting engaged first. It was baffling. When I brought up to my parents, they sided with Emily, saying I should have been more considerate and involved her in the party planning, even though I hadn't asked her to. They said it was her right to be upset because she was stressed about her wedding. I tried to explain that it wasn't about stealing attention, but about celebrating my engagement with people I cared about in a way that felt comfortable for me. I didn't want to overshadow her wedding. I just wanted to have my moment too. Since then, Emily has been cold to me, barely responding to messages. She's also told mutual friends that I'm selfish and manipulative. Meanwhile, my parents have been pressuring me to apologize and make amends so the family can come together for Emily's big day. The thing is, Emily's wedding is very different from my engagement party. It's a massive event with hundreds of guests, an expensive venue, and a big budget. I genuinely don't want to go because I don't feel welcomed or appreciated. I also fear another scene like at my party. When I told my parents and Emily that I wouldn't be attending, they flipped out. Emily said I'm ruining her day and that I'm being immature and petty. My parents are disappointed and say I'm tearing the family apart. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm standing up for myself, but everyone else sees me as the villain. Am I really in the wrong for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after how she treated me at my engagement party? Or is my family being unfair to me? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to let my sister's fiancé stay in my house after he embarrassed me in front of my whole family. This is a long one, so bear with me. I, 29F, have always been close with my younger sister, 26F. We grew up in a pretty tight-knit family, and despite some usual sibling rivalry, we got along well. About 2 years ago, she started dating this guy, Mark, 30M. At first, I didn't have any real issues with him. He seemed nice enough, polite, and respectful. Over time, though, I started noticing little things that rubbed me the wrong way. Mark was the kind of guy who wanted to be the center of attention at every family event. He would tell these exaggerated stories that didn't quite add up, or he would interrupt people mid-conversation to correct them, even when he was clearly wrong. My parents tried to be polite, but I could tell they weren't thrilled. I never said anything because I wanted my sister to be happy. Fast forward to about 6 months ago, my sister and Mark got engaged. Our family was excited, and I volunteered to host the engagement party at my house since I have a decent-sized place. The night of the party, things started off great. Everyone was having a good time. Mark was being his usual loud self, telling jokes and trying to charm everyone. Then it happened. Mark somehow got it in his head that he needed to make a toast. He stood up, grabbed a glass of wine, and started what was supposed to be a heartfelt speech. Instead, he launched into a long, rambling monologue about how I was the overachiever of the family and how I always had to show off and outshine everyone. He said I was too competitive and never let anyone have a moment, which was completely false and came out of nowhere. Everyone was stunned. My parents looked uncomfortable, my sister was mortified, and I just sat there feeling utterly humiliated. Mark kept going, saying things like how he hoped the family would learn to accept a more humble bride when my sister married him. It was so bizarre and rude. No one said anything at first because we were all in shock. I ended the toast by saying, maybe you should sit down and rethink what you just said, and walked away to collect myself. The party ended soon after, with most people leaving early. Since then, I haven't really spoken to Mark. My sister tried to defend him, saying he was just nervous and didn't mean to hurt my feelings. But I felt like that was a clear red flag about how he truly saw me. Here's where things got worse. About 2 weeks ago, my sister and Mark asked if they could stay at my place for a few days. They were in town visiting my parents, and their Airbnb had a problem. I was hesitant, but figured I could be gracious for a few nights. On their first night, Mark continued his antics. He stayed up late, making loud phone calls, critiqued the way I organized my kitchen, and even tried to rearrange my furniture while I was at work without asking me. The final straw came when my sister and I had a private conversation about how hurtful his toast was. Mark overheard and stormed into the room, loudly accusing me of being jealous and trying to ruin their relationship. I asked them to leave the next day. My sister was upset and said I was being unreasonable. Mark told me I was an awful sister and a toxic person. Now, my parents have taken Mark's side, saying I should be more understanding and welcoming. They think I'm overreacting and causing a rift in the family. I don't want to be the bad guy here. I love my sister and want her to be happy, but I can't stand how Mark has treated me. I don't want him in my house or a part of my life if this is how he acts. So, AITA for refusing to let my sister's fiancé stay in my house after he embarrassed me in front of the whole family. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of how she treated my husband. This has been brewing for a while, and I honestly don't know if I'm the asshole here or if my family is just completely out of line. A little background. I'm 32F, married to my husband, Mark, 34M, for about 5 years. We have a very strong relationship, and I consider Mark my best friend. I have one younger sister, Emily, 28F. Growing up, Emily and I had a typical sister relationship. Sometimes close, sometimes distant, but mostly okay. When I got married, Emily was excited and supportive. Fast forward to a year ago, Emily got engaged to her fiancé, Jason. Jason is a really charming guy, and at first, I thought they were great together. But things started to get weird when the wedding planning began. Emily suddenly became extremely controlling and dismissive towards me and Mark, especially Mark. The first sign of trouble was at the engagement party. Emily had invited all her family and friends, but Mark wasn't mentioned in the invites. When I asked Emily about it, she brushed it off, saying she didn't think it was necessary because he's not really family. I was surprised, but I let it go because I didn't want to start drama. Over the next few months, Emily kept making subtle digs at Mark whenever we saw her. For example, she criticized his job. He works in IT. His hobbies, he's into gaming and comics, and even his clothes. She once said, "I don't understand why you married someone who doesn't have ambition." I told her to stop being rude, but she just laughed it off. The worst moment came when she asked me to be a bridesmaid. I agreed, wanting to be supportive, but she told me that Mark was not allowed to attend any bridal events. I was shocked and asked why. She said, "Because I don't want him making people uncomfortable. You can come, but leave him out." I felt hurt and humiliated. While I confronted Emily about her behavior, she claimed I was overreacting and that Mark was being too sensitive. She also told me that Jason didn't like Mark and thought he was weird. I tried to talk to Jason separately, but he said he didn't care much about Mark. He just didn't want him around the wedding events. I spoke to Mark about it, and he was understandably upset. We both decided to talk to our parents to see if they could intervene. To our surprise, my parents sided with Emily and Jason. They said that this was their daughter's big day and they needed to respect her wishes. They said Mark should be gracious and understand that not everyone will like him. At this point, I was feeling cornered and powerless. I told Emily that if Mark wasn't allowed to be part of the wedding, then I wouldn't attend either. She blew up, calling me selfish and threatening to disown me. My parents also started pressuring me to compromise and attend the wedding without Mark. They even suggested I should leave him at home for the day to keep the peace. I told them that's not how marriage works, and that if my husband isn't welcome, I'm not going either. The last conversation I had with Emily before the wedding was a huge fight. She said I was ruining her special day and that I was choosing my husband over my family. I said I was choosing to stand up for my marriage and my self-respect. The wedding is in 2 weeks. I have made it clear I won't be attending unless Mark is welcome. My parents are upset and keep trying to guilt-trip me. Emily has unfriended me on social media and hasn't spoken to me since. I feel like I'm doing the right thing by standing up for my husband and refusing to be part of an event where he is unwelcome. But I'm also devastated that my family is fracturing over this. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because she won't allow my husband to be part of it?